Hey everyone, this is something I haven't scripted. I'm just going off the cuff. I want to echo what Spood said earlier. This is sort of the end of VCS English, and I'm using the fact that the next time we load the Rift might be the last time. Obviously, we're still hoping for Vikings to fight back, but it might be the last time. Just to say a few things. It's been 5 years since I loaded up the League of Legends subreddit, which is always a mistake, and saw a post by one Your Way, reached out and said, "Hey, I'd love to cast a little minor region with you." And ever since then, I can say that this region has genuinely been one of the most influential things in my life. The people I've met through this have genuinely been some of my best friends. Your Way, Marby, Spoods, and everyone else, don't get me wrong. I just want to say thank you. It's been an incredible time, and for everyone that watches, all of the people behind the scenes, I just want to say thank you, and let's go out on a high. Let's end it properly.
Welcome back, everyone. Game 2 is over. Now, Rebel, at the end of Game 1, I got very upset, right? Because it was a stop. You talked some sense into me, so now I'm feeling less worried. Because it's all a part of the script.
That's right. We talked about this. This is exactly what's going to happen. Now we just need the substitute to come in, and then we'll be all together. I don't know. When we expected this series to come out, the last time that they played, the best of 5 that they played in the upper bracket semis, the games were slower. It felt more like they were playing around team fights. And today, for GAM has gotten a lot more feisty, and for some reason, Vikings are just not ready for it in the slightest. The other big thing I'm noticing is jungle difference is kind of ridiculous today. Guri, not to say he's played particularly bad, there were multiple times where the Shyvana was just missing E's or not doing the. It was, I don't know if it was communication. I don't know if it was trying to commit to a play or not commit to a play. But whatever it was, Guri looked completely unfocused in this game. Which again, I'm not going to put the onus entirely on him, but it was a lot more scattered than I think we've seen Vikings play for the majority of the split.
Marby, I want to go to you with a little bit of history because kind of every segment, one of us has brought a bit of history in that. Usually it's been something that the other two have forgotten. This time, I'm sure it is something that you two remember. Because if we go back a couple of years when Saigon Buffalo were looking really strong, the only team that were able to beat them was GAM. And the reason for it, or at least how the likes of Hankei and many other analysts phrased it, was Saigon Buffalo were very good at doing their own thing. They were really good at scaling, getting to team fights, winning those team fights, winning games. GAM, though, were the only team that seemed to know how to flip the switch and play in a different way to what Saigon Buffalo expected. Play aggressive early, and then when Saigon Buffalo were out of their comfort zone, they looked like a terrible team as a result. Is that something similar we're seeing today?
I mean, yeah, I think in some ways, because I remember a lot of the time we used to joke that Bean J had what was the coach's name? I forgot the coach's name. Ren. Yeah, Bean J had Ren's brain in his body because if Bean J would have immaculate pathing at the start of the game, but if you interrupted that, he would just have a terrible game. He could just walk out a set plan, and if it failed, it fell. The whole game sort of fell apart. I don't fully think that's the case here, because it's not even starting, and I think part of that is another bit of history. We haven't had a stage game in the VCS for 4 years. I think 2020 was 2020 or 2021 was the last time. Guri has never played on stage. Nanoe has never played on stage. And these are the players who are, in my eyes, collapsing the most. I mean, B had a pretty terrible Renata game, but like in terms of just small mechanical decisions, I think they are struggling with the LAN event more than because they're not used to it. This is new for them, and we've seen a lot. This happen quite a few times in the sort of post-COVID era. Players who were really good online finally moved to a stage performance, and it just doesn't work.
Rebel, to go to you though, I want to go to the counterpoint of this, where you look at Viking Esports. Kati's played on stage, Shogun's played on stage. I'm pretty sure B's played on stage. They've all gone to Worlds, and they have had that experience. GAM on the other side, you've got Kiai, you've got Levi, who have played on stage multiple times. Emo, Easy Love, and Elio, though, you'll have to remind me. I'm not sure how much stage. if
MSI.
any- MSI. Okay, my bad.
They
my
literally
bad.
went to MSI.
See, that's too recent. It no longer counts as history. I'm thinking of ancient history here.
Also, Easy Love was on old GAM rosters, like 2020.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Easy
So-
Love's been around the block pretty easily.
So to pose a question then to you, Rebel, do you think Vikings can get over this? Let's call it stage fright, right? It might not be stage fright, but let's call it as stage fright. Can they get over this and start showing up in the same way that they have been over the regular season?
I honestly don't know. Like this is not what we expected from Vikings coming in. We've seen so much better out of like Shogun and Guri and even B in a lot of cases, and it seems like today they're just completely out of it. What I think the thing that they really need to knock their confidence into full swing is a jungle matchup that's going to let Guri dominate. Like I don't know whether it's got to be something that's off meta, off kilter, whatever it might be, or maybe it's just a very guaranteed matchup where he's going to be comfortable. But again, it felt like last game, especially Levi was just an absolute boss. Like every single fight, they knew exactly where Levi was. He was coming in on a flank. They could have turned on him. They could have done something. And it felt like they never had the option to actually fight him. Guri felt completely ineffective, and Levi felt like he was running everything. They need to flip that switch, if nothing else. I think Nanaue is actually playing quite a bit better today than he was in the previous final. I think Kadi's playing incredible League of Legends today. He was actually kind of a monster for the first 15 minutes. I was afraid that he was going to be the scaling option that was going to cost GAM that game. But unfortunately, the continued skirmishes kept just pouring gold into their pockets. So they need to find a way that if they're going to skirmish, which has never been Guri's kind of strong point, how are you going to do it? What champion is it going to be? What strategy do you need to employ? Because otherwise, you just have to go to a stonewall system. You have to play for late game. You have to go back to giving up neutral objectives and pray that you can get that 5-on-5, which was working at least a little bit in their previous series.
Before we go to our CB LOL friends, I kind of want to get one final thought from the pair of you about what you'd like to see differently being done. That can be a draft thing, it can be a game thing, it can be a sub in ego thing, whatever you want.
Just, yeah, sub in 2020 Flash. No,
Oh.
I think
Yoshino?
yeah, Yoshino, Slater splits over. Palette's somewhere. No, I think CC. I noticed quite a few times there were chants in the last game. There were times where like Elio was like walking near a bush, or someone was walking near a bush, and you could have grabbed that pick opportunity, but you had no CC. You had no form of lockdown outside of Jackson Renata, who are very hit or miss at. Don't have much to work with. So more CC. Like Guri's most played champion is Maokai. If you get that opportunity, take it. If not, Sejuani duty.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're not going to find something that ends up dueling better in the early stages of the game, and if GAM is going to continue this brawling style, they desperately need to find a way to like CC, stop fights, or just cut things completely off. If that's Sejuani or if it's some other champion, then so be it. If that's what needs to happen, that's what needs to happen. And Vikings have to identify that quickly before they kind of spiral out of control in game number 3.
Thank you very much for that. And with that said, can we bring in our good old friends from the Brazilian region? Our 3 particular friends from CB LOL, and that is some great artwork as well.
Hi, yeah.
No.
I don't know what we're doing here. I just got dragged in here from Brazil. What's going on?
We've got so actually the reason why we brought you in under the pretense that we wanted you to talk a little bit about your region. The real reason we brought you in was we wanted to intimidate you with just how good our region was. That's why GAM are absolutely stomping right now. So guys, are you intimidated?
I mean, it's bringing back a lot of tough memories for sure. Because aside from that 1-2-0 that our best had against your best, it's been all downhill since then. Yeah, so consider me intimidated. We've got no shot. If I had boots, I would be quaking in them. Let's put it that way.
Isn't it does it feel nice? What is it? Your top 3 seeded teams are all teams that have not been to like an international tournament, right? Am I just like completely wild off there, or like at least the players of most of those teams haven't been to international events? Does it feel nice to have the possibility that you're going to have new players going instead of the same 3 that have gone to every single international event?
Well, actually, two of our top 3 teams actually have made it to an international event since 2021 when franchising kicked in. But Rebel, we are super happy if Loud don't make it again, because y'all are talking about getting intimidated. For first talking about our trauma, yeah, Milky, we remember emo Easy Love at MSI because they knocked out Loud again. So you know what? We're happy to go there. We're very, very sorry that Levi won't be able to see his Brazilian son, unfortunately, this round. Fingers crossed, but you know, we'll kind of see how it goes.
Oh, Treasure, what about you? Are you also quaking in your metaphorical boots then? Oh no, he's muted! Trajan!
Oh,
What? Okay, there we go.
There he is.
Classic broadcast
Appalling.
move. There we
Brazilian
go.
Carricks!
I know.
Yes!
I know. I'd be so lucky to be Brazilian Carricks, honestly. But the reason I'm not quaking, Milky, is that we as a region at least have started to beat the one team region allegations, okay? Loud is
Okay, yeah,
barely
true.
hanging on by their fingertips in the lower bracket right now. And you guys, I don't know, it seems like we're chugging on to another GAM session.
Yeah, I gotta give you guys props. You went from 1 team to 0. That's insane. Like,
Okay, you can say that now, and then when our new representative meets GAM inevitably in play-ins at Worlds, then we'll talk about who's got a real team in the region.
and
All
I'm
right.
just saying, Rebel, GAM struggled 2-1 against Loud. Payne just put them away 3-0 easy, so...
Yeah.
I would just like to say that technically, as the host of this segment, Rebel is fighting for VCS 1v3, and he has come out
Yeah.
swinging.
Yeah. Well, he's better dressed than any of us, so he's clearly just prepared better, I think, for this segment.
Whoa, nah. League shirt trumps all. League shirt trumps all. That's all I'm saying. Guys, talk to us a little bit about CBLOL in general, how your playoffs are going, and kind of aspirations going into Worlds.
I think the aspirations, like they were said, was just Loud not being the representatives again, because it's really tough to beat the one team allegations again when you send the same freaking team over and over again. As I'm sure you guys experienced probably some of this. My favorite fact to trot out about Loud is that even though they've won the last 4 titles in the regular season, they've never actually been the 1 seed. They've always come in there with some sort of flaw that they've showed during the regular season that we think surely a team will expose. Yes, it's best of ones. Yes, you can only get so much data from that sample size and whatnot, but Loud seem to turn it on every playoffs, and then it gets harder and harder to beat these allegations. I think those are our hopes, but I think our top 4 has looked stronger than it has in a long, long time. And whichever one of the teams, be it Red or Payne or Cade Stars, that we send, there is something to like that is different about them compared to Loud.
Yeah, I think we have so many good options now to potentially send with players that we've been hoping for split after split. Why can't they get a shot at international? Why can't we see them into the international stage? Because Loud always takes all 5 tickets and just walks away and doesn't give them a chance. But even if Loud makes it again, the narrative design from that outcome in the last CBLOL split, with Loud looking the worst they've ever looked into the strongest field that's ever been, down into the losers bracket already, would be so pristine in itself that I can't even be 100% mad, you know? So either we send Loud again and we probably get washed out in play-ins, but it would be the sickest domestic thing of all time, or we get someone new, and I think we'll probably end up coming back a bit happier.
Yeah, and I think in terms of the international stage as well, our aspirations this round, you know, it's the final time before a lot of regions get merged. Brazil gets merged, VCS gets merged, PCS gets merged. So 3 simple goals: 1, beat GAM; 2, beat PSG; 3, get out of play-ins.
Yeah.
That is a good checklist, and I do like the fact that our CBLOL friends really want another team other than Loud to make it through, because it almost sounds like they just want an excuse for when they lose to the VCS. Had to throw one in.
Yes.
Right, I've got a little segment for you guys. I have created a quiz. Now, on this quiz are a variety of different foods that either come from Brazil or Vietnam. and it is your job to try to work out which is which.
I'm gonna go ahead and I want to quickly disconnect myself. I didn't see this, and he's British, so he knows nothing about food. So I'm gonna take a wild guess. Something's wrong on here, and I didn't have anything to do with this.
I
You're
didn't need
just
to
a
catch a
poor
stray
man's
on that
Brett.
one, but I did not need to catch a stray on that one. But we do at least have Hank here,
I don't
who is
mind.
at least partially Brazilian. So we
was-
have elected our champion.
I was
think,
bored.
for
There's a lot
4-4.
riding on this for me. If I can't distinguish between my native country's cuisine and Vietnam, a place I've literally never been and have no knowledge of, like this should be really easy just by process of elimination. So a lot
We
riding
might
on
not
this
let
for
him
me.
back in.
You know what? I should have just picked
So.
every single picture I did. It should have just been from Vietnam. Just no Brazilian food in there whatsoever. Just to track out.
Have me really sweating. Like, do I know anything?
I'm just
All
waiting
right.
for the picture of baked beans on toast, but go ahead.
Oh dear lord!
That's my turn.
Right,
That's
Spoods,
my
can we
turn.
get our first food up, please, for our 4 competitors to try to work this one out?
Looks like rice pudding.
Yeah,
looks
It
Fat
does
and
look like
calories.
rice pudding.
Yeah,
Looks good as well. It looks actually.
yeah. I feel like that's Vietnamese. I'm having a tough time recognizing it, but
But this,
You know what?
Well,
Does that
no,
appeal
so
to you,
much-
404? Does that call to your Brazilian stomach?
Does the amount of chopped garlic in the background affect this decision? Because like, is that something you'd expect to see on a Brazilian countertop?
I mean,
when
it's
cooking,
the
you know?
cinnamon for me. I'm like,
garlic?
I can't think of. I don't even know if that's garlic.
it's
I'm
something.
trusting
I don't
Trajan
know.
here.
Garlic, yeah.
Or like really big rice. I don't know. Or like risotto.
is
I
some
do
All
I
right,
know what
guys.
risotto is?
We've got to get guesses in because we've got a
Okay.
few of these to get through.
Right.
So,
I'm lo-
right, Rebel, do you want to go first with your guess?
Hell no! I told you I'm not participating.
Oh,
in this.
okay, right.
Wow.
Okay, fair enough.
I thought we were the ones looking for
Coward.
excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rebel's a coward. We know that. I'd make American jokes, but I'll get in too much trouble.
you can't.
Trajan, do you want to go first?
I think this is Vietnamese. I think it's
Okay.
Vietnamese.
Random?
404, I'm trusting you. You seem really hesitant. I'm going Vietnamese with this.
4?
I'm trusting you. You seem really hesitant. Good. Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with Vietnam. I'm locking it in.
Okay. It is Brazilian. It's brigadeiro.
That's a fucking lie. That's literally not what a brigadeiro is.
Why do we keep you around, mate? Why do we keep you around?
If I can't drop
I want
F-bombs
to
on
hear out.
screen.
Hold on. I want to hear out 4x4 here, please. What is Brigadeo and what does this look
Dude,
like?
I'm coming in as the
Oh, no,
voice,
it's not.
voice in the back.
Yeah, it's
I've
not.
just Googled Brigadeo, and a Brigadeo
Hang on,
is a
hang on, hang on.
cupcake. This is a disaster.
I told you.
It's not
If
Brigadeo.
you question,
No.
one question, the British person messes it up. Okay, one question.
Like if
dear
they were
Lord.
doing and if on the first question I googled on my second monitor brigadeiro and hit images, just really simple cursory stuff.
Okay,
Not
well,
in the
hang
first-
on, hang on.
Good.
Has he read the wrong
Briga-
line?
brigadeiros are little
Somebody
chocolate
quickly
balls.
look up. Somebody quickly look up Brazilian food and see if this is one of the first like 3 images. Just no search at it whatsoever.
Oh, it's Canhisa. There we go. I picked the wrong word. But it is a
Well-
Brazilian food. So with that, we'll take VCS 1.
We're in draft.
Oh, that was too much fun.
Hey,
Very
so
good.
I'm back to fix this nonsense. We are in draft, and Vikings have not been listening to this stream because they have just slammed the Shyvana again.
Probably better that they don't listen to the stream. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what diagnosis I even have for what draft needs to get fixed. I really didn't think the Shyvana like Guri looked comfortable on it. I was hoping that they would go away from it. At least the Lily is gone. Maybe that'll help.
Maokai's open. That's
doesn't
your
matter.
most played by like double the next champion. Just pick Maokai. That gives you great C setup. Gives you great like super flexible draft options because it can be engage or disengage. But they're just gonna say, okay, Shogun carry us.
Dragon Comp. Aurelion Soul.
Yeah.
Dragon Comp. There's no Dragon Comp. Are we just like hyper scaling? Is that what's happening?
I'm still just recovering from that segment, to be honest. But do we have CC? That's my checklist from Marby.
No.
And no. No. But Counter-Strike, that is one of the greatest forms of CC in League of Legends.
Jax begins twirling his yachting.
It's so inconsistent. Like right now, your two forms of CC are Counter Strike, which requires Jax getting on top of you bodily, or the ultimate from Shyvana, which is kind of the same thing. But it's like you don't have any like super safe forms of pick. You don't have safe forms of CC. You don't have very strong forms of CC, unless you get a miracle Counter Strike. It's just not good setup.
That's what the Leona's for, Mobby. Obviously, they're going to pick Leona so that they have somebody that doesn't have to jump in with their body.
It's a ban.
Oh, no, it's banned. That's crazy. Crazy how that works. Crazy that GAM foresaw what an obvious pick that could have been to set up the rest of their composition. Man, people are shuffling around right now in this Discord.
I mean, I would just like to say that GAM banned the Leona before the Vikings picked
I know,
anything,
I'm
okay?
well aware of that.
Yeah, look, I'm just tapping the why didn't you pick Maokai sign.
They could still pick it. They could flex the
They
Shyvana
could.
if they wanted to.
Shyvana top, Jax
Where?
jungle, Maokai support.
There's-
No. Maokai jungle and then Senna with a farming Shyvana bot lane would actually probably work.
Where does
Wouldn't
a
be great. but it
Smolder
could
go,
work.
Rebel?
I would
Where is
prefer
Smolder
farming
go?
Wait,
Jax.
what are you, dude?
Okay, that's
Okay.
CC.
Is it
Fair enough.
CC?
That's not CC. That's Kai'Sa. Never mind. I quit.
Are we getting what?
Well, we've got a
Are we
Kennen locked in.
behind
Top lane matchup looks good for GAM. Ranged versus melee. I'm pretty sure that's how that one goes.
I do know Kiaya loves his Kennen, and Nanaue got absolutely bullied on Kennen the other day, so that's pretty funny. What happened with Kai'Sa? I'm still lost here.
I was looking at the wrong stream.
You have
That's
another-
Kai'Sa.
Oh, you're cheating! What
Yeah,
the heck?
my bad. Look, I had the wrong one open. Anyhow, but we've ended up with the Nautilus. I much would have preferred a center Ornn lane because then your front line actually exists rather than Nautilus, who is made out of paper to keep him even remotely balanced. And I think just a Bromlock here. Yeah, a Bromlock is a slam dunk. You've just denied half of Vikings team comp.
But we have CC and Kai'Sa Nor.
It's more than Renata. I will say that.
It is. I mean, the CC works in a similar way. You throw something at, you hit them, you move them.
True.
I'm bored. This compositions are boring.
You're bored.
I want to go
Oh,
back to double marksman.
But we've got
and
Shyvana
other marksman.
again.
You have double
man.
marksman. It's called.
It's not.
The
Smolder's
most
not a
fake-
marksman. Smolder's not a marksman.
Okay, it's double 80 carry.
No, it's not.
Smolder
It's technically triple 80 carry because Jack's
It's made to build 80 items. Don't fool yourself. All right. It's got to be GAM again. I don't think they've done anything to change their composition drastically. I don't think there's enough here. Unless they go into overdrive, there's nothing crazy happening here for Vikings.
Yeah, this is slightly easier for Cardi to 1v9 on with the Smolder, but it's the draft still has all the same problems with GAM.
I need 5 games. Unfortunately, fans, we're not going to get that. 3-0 GAM. Carrix, your way for potentially the final ever time. Away you go.
Potentially the last time we roll out together your way. It brings a tear to our eyes when we watch TK absolutely popping off. Wanting to, I mean, look, as much as I would hate a 3-0, I don't want a 3-0. I never ever want a 3-0 in this situation. But TK getting to get that big win, I can't be too unhappy about that. He has done more to help the VCS's reputation than pretty much anyone else. Except, maybe someone else that might be on screen right now. Maybe we've covered every game for 5 years or something. Anyway, Marmy hates the comp. Rebel's bored by the comp. But your way, is the comp gonna win?
You're talking GAM's comp, I assume?
No, I'm talking about Vikings.
Vikings, sorry, my bad. I actually kind of prefer their composition. I'm very skeptical about the execution because Guri Shyvana, as Rebel pointed out, didn't really go their way last game. So I'm holding out my breath for his execution. But in terms of just overall composition, if you ignore the teams, There's double ADC on one side and only one ADC on the other side, so it's pretty clear to me which composition is better.
True, that is true. Though calling Smolder an ADC, questionable. That is more of a mage, but look at this, Vikings. They have their bot side on the top side, and they're going for a little pokey poke. Spotted by a ward, which is definitely not ideal. The cannon is in range, but this should be decent aggression. Levi caught on the Raptors.
Pia's on a mission.
Pia just beating him. This is a lane swap.
He got one, I guess. He got 8 gold for himself, and he got a little bit of harassment on Levi, which is going to be healed away. Yeah, but let's talk about GAM's composition, actually, because this is weird. This is straight out of a Time Machine or something. Cannon, Vi, Ari? Like, we have not seen this be, like, on top of the meta in a long while. It does have very obvious synergies in team fights, very strong engage, decent CC, actually very good CC, very good lockdown, especially for something like Smolder, but it's maybe a little bit lacking in damage, especially in the late game. If Cannon is put behind, for example, using a lane swap, this could really be dangerous for the later stages of the game. Ari, not really the best consistent DPS. Vi, of course, can't really offer the same as a Zyra or a Brand, so it's all on Zeri. So they have put a lot in the Easy Love basket, and he has been performing amazingly so far in playoffs. But can he be the main carry and outshine the likes of Kati and Shogun?
Look, I think it's a dangerous gambit the Viking is running here. But at the same time, given the way the first 2 games have gone, this is the time to take a bit of a risk. Pull the lane swap. Really, really try and enable Shogun. I think Kai'Sa is a much better choice than the Callista for that. But Levi now rotating up, leaving camps on the table, but is going to stop early tower plates being given over to Shogun. So this is an early lead for Easy Love.
You don't really swap into the top lane to get tower plates, especially not with ranged champions, because it's so hard to actually kill those tower plates, or destroy those plates, I should say. So this is to be expected. It didn't really go their way in terms of top lane matchup, but they did get a very certain advantage in the jungle matchup. And looking at the game so far, I think that's more than necessary. Guri now a level ahead, and they might fight for the bot side camps you just talked about. Guri, he could try to smite this one away. He didn't quite get it, so now Levi is actually free to go back into his own jungle and catch up in CS. A little bit unfortunate for the side of Vikings there. They tried to accelerate their own jungler, but it didn't really pan out.
Yeah, and now there's the swap back. We go back to normal lanes, and Nunaway just kind of has a 10 CS deficit. It's not going to be huge. There is actually a pretty big wave behind Kiaya that he's going to be able to catch. So I think that'll not quite even out. It'll still be a little bit in Kiaya's favor. Overall, seems like a bit of a failed, not failed, but definitely not perfect play by Vikings, but certainly nothing game determinative.
That's big poke from Kati there. Very nice on the clapback, actually getting caught by the E from Ari, but still out trading. So you can definitely see some of the advantages of being an AD champion there, just trading with Q and auto attacks.
Oh. That away, just missing a little bit of CS there. Unfortunate stuff. As Guri stealing away one camp. I mean, it's nice, but he
does get the level up because this was actually the reset camp, so a little bit higher in experience compared to the first clear. So he does maintain his level advantage, even though he's only 4 CS ahead, which is nice to see. It looks like there's a little bit more priority now on the bot side for GAM, so Vikings might actually break the usual Shyvana pattern and opt for a topside focus with push in mid and top lane. Should be rather free for their jungler to collect some of the grabs, hopefully all 3 of them, which also I think gives more experience. So this could be all an elaborate accelerate Guri strategy.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little bit tricky. If you're going to go accelerate Guri, not playing to his passive seems risky, to say the least. But you can always play to it later. It's not like those stacks get particularly worse. They are percent-based, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they're flat 5/10.
I think they are. I actually think they are flat. I said percentage, and then immediately I was like, no, that's flat. That's why I'm a play-by-play caster.
but then again, they're still dragons spawning later on, and you get. I think you get them for Elder as well. So you are correct that they're not really gone. Even though if you miss one, you can't get it for that dragon. You can kind of get them back later. And if in the grand scheme of things, it's only 5 armor and MR or 10 in the bigger form. So maybe advantages through pushing power on grubs and stuff like that can actually do more than just 5 armor and MR. So I kind of like this change of focus, especially also because Guri should be accelerated in terms of experience now that he got all the 3 grubs. So if he gets to level 6 first and manages to maybe dive the cannon, okay, cannon is level 6, so it's going to be a little difficult, but maybe find a skirmish into the jungle, then that could be an avenue to victory.
Perhaps, as we have had the Australian lanes activated again, truly getting their steps in today, the ADCs, making sure they're nice and fit for their world's journey to come. Of course, both of these players, all 10 of these players, in fact, will be going to Worlds. They just need to be careful. Elio is very strong right now. That shield doing a huge amount, but not enough, as he just has to jump away. B trying to turn it around. They must be really close to that Nautilus level 6. Maybe that could give them the power. Oh, B so low, jumping forward. He's showing it doesn't quite do it. Oh, and locked out. Easy Love burns the barrier. They're so close. They get the first blood.
Oh wow, what a fight to the death! That took like 30 seconds or almost a minute, just back and forth. This is what we like to see in the bot lane. We had to wait for both bot lanes to go to the top lane to actually finally see this kind of back and forth trading. Easy Love, I think he missed one tiny detail there that was crucial for them winning that engagement, because he was he activated his ultimate, but he couldn't actually use any spells apart from his auto attacks. And that cost them dearly in the end there. You can see Shogun hits level 6 first, and they do fight in an advantage when it comes to minions. So the first engagement is won by the side of Vikings, but now they get away from Easy Love. So even though he has his ult running, it's still only level 6, so it doesn't actually offer that much extra damage. And then Shogun, just with a good eye, he just has more consistent damage with the spells also being ready and loaded. So they can cut through that extra protection. And there's the first blood for Shogun, finally winning the 2v2.
Finally, and that might be a confidence injection that Shogun and Vikings need. As the analysts were talking about, a lot of this Vikings team, despite the players having a lot of history, they just haven't played a lot of stage games. Obviously, Shogun is not one of those people. He has played at MSI. A lot of these players, oh no, Nunaway in trouble, has a Vi on top of him, has a cannon, zip zap zoopin, uses the flash, uses the jump. Cannon over the wall with a flash, but he forced a lot of summoners.
Yeah, he did bait double flash. I think that was the best outcome he could achieve there. So at least trades his life for 2 summoner spells, which could be crucial, especially looking at the cannon flash for the next big team fight around the respawning grubs in 1 minute, for example, because you never want to fight against 6 grubs. So taking everything into account, I actually think Nanawa sold himself well there. Obviously not great to go down, and also look at the CS. That is not great either. The top lane is struggling.
Elliot takes a big chunk, and also, look, you don't need to tell me who's on the other side of the rift. You have Kiaya on one side. Yeah, the top lane is struggling. It's Kiaya your way. Of course they're struggling, though maybe it's not too much to do with Kiaya this game as much as it is about match movements.
Yeah, also a lot of resources actually invested into kind of helping Kiaya out there. Early cover from Levi. He sacrificed 2 camps to just be there with Kiaya to enable him to get some experience, even lasted some minions. Then always, if you're safe as the ranged top lane in a lane swap, you will automatically earn a little bit more money because you can just use your Q, your auto attacks to try and at least lasted some of the minions from afar. So it has definitely worked out in GAM's favor. But we also have to take into consideration the Australia lanes, as you like to call them, also helped the other side, and Shogun got a 2v2 kill. So this is all one investment from Vikings. Top lane is suffering, but Shogun, their main carry, is ahead.
Yeah, and with that Slicing Maelstrom and the Vi ultimate down, I don't think there's really any room to contest on these grubs. This is just going to be 6 grubs for the Vikings. 40 seconds on the Dragon, GAM not able to instantly trade that into a 2 Drake advantage. Vikings are pretty happy with this, despite the gold disadvantage.
Yeah, and this is actually remarkable if you think about the top lane and how it has gone for the side of Vikings. Nano is this far behind, and still they can just kind of freely take away the top lane objective. 6 grubs with an ADC that is actually in a good spot, and another ADC that's scaling up in the mid lane to hit towers later on. Could snowball quite quickly. If you get a Baron at like 25 minutes, suddenly the game is just instantly over because of all the extra pushing power.
Yeah, it's a strong position for Vikings, but of course they still need to work through this goal disadvantage. Jax as a champion struggles to operate from behind. It's kind of you'd love to be on the opposite side of this, where Kennen from behind at least has the ultimate, has a lot of CC, but Nunaway, look, he is not the linchpin to this team comp. He just needs to be a side lane threat. Levi is lurking. Doesn't actually have vision in the pit, now does. 2,000 health on the Dragon. Will be going down very
late.
Secured. Yeah,
just come a bit late.
Too little, too late.
Yeah, just missed the mark there, and this is both objectives now over to Vikings. Kind of reminds me of game 1 late yesterday, where they just secured all the objectives in top side and bot side and just walked away with the game. If this is similar to that first game, that could be a great start for the comeback of Vikings, because that is an aggressive dive.
To the tower we go. Mum is called, but Cardi will be going down. Just Levi follow. No! Ho, so very close.
Yeah, Cardi tried to get a little bit of extra distance there, so Levi had to maybe step back under tower range, but it's only one tower and it can't execute Levi. So that's, I think, no flash invested from either side. Look at this, just super decisive. Instantly caught it, and I think, Cardi had to flash away from the tower to just force Levi to go in between the 2 towers. If he wanted any chance at surviving there, I think he has to flash the Vi ultimate to extend the range. So Ahri has to commit 2 ultimates to get to him, and Vi also has to stay under 2 towers, so and at least has to kind of kite between 2 towers. This flash was a little bit too late, and Cardi dies under tower.
Yeah, I think holding on to the flash might have had a little bit of merit, but unfortunately this is sort of the worst of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
Kiaya gets a lot of damage onto Guri, won't be able to look for this top lane play, needs to be careful, but of course has that Shyvana ult primed, and the honey fruit there to heal him back up. Vikings want to get this Herald, they want to play through this top side objective.
It's a bit scary though. First item on all the champions of GAM.
But a hook to start it off onto B, chunking him out, but it's traded for so much damage back onto B. I made a miscall, of course. It was Elio at first, but it was B in the end that goes down. Guri, don't know about that one. Has to flash away from the charm. Elio very, very low, but he's only a little Braum. Can Vikings get in here to actually do anything? Rift Herald, of course, is very tanky. Levi has a lot of time.
Yeah, not on level 11, but he does have flash.
Oh no, they get the catch onto Shogun. Disaster strikes as he falls to Emo. There'll be no contest now for Vikings.
And they've been so good about avoiding these fights. Oh, Nanoware might go down as well. Kiaya with a little bit of a
he just wants to trade onto Easy Love. If he trades onto Easy Love,
Guri
on the way, can blast code away. Easy Love stepping very far forward, but the slicing Maelstrom able to keep him safe. Can they at least get a trade here onto Easy Love? Nunaway has gone down. Guri's going so low. I need to see the fight here. Oh no, it's happening again, your way! It's happening again!
It's another 3 kills for GAM, it looks like, as B walks very sadly to his own death as well. Can't even get the counter kill. Oh my god, they were so good in the first 40 minutes of this game. So good about avoiding the fights, and then suddenly they just snap back into the last game, and out of nowhere it's 7-1 kills for GAM, 3k gold lead, and we're staring at a 3-0 potentially for GAM.
How do they do it 3 times in a row, your way?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really blame Nanoware for this pathing here, but I think it's just ill-advised to try and fight, because Guri is not even in his
I
ultimate
think
form,
he
so
can get
what,
away.
what's he
I
gonna
think
do?
he can just get away.
Maybe he can even get away, but just sacrifice him. Why are you trying to fight into Kiaya and Isilov here with just a level 9 Shyvana without her ultimate form? She doesn't do anything, look at her. And then there's B, just... yeah, very sadly waddling away, trying to get out of there, but obviously the Nautilus can't get away there. Can't even trade back. That's 3 more kills to the carries of GAM.
You away. How do they always do it? How do they keep getting away with it?
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Let's try to actually turn this into praise for GAM, because
Yeah.
yes, it is a bit ridiculous. We have seen so many splits where GAM doesn't look like the best team in regular season. They kind of look sloppy, they change their players around, and then playoffs hits and they just win again. And it seems like it's one of those instances again, but you have to also commend them on their playoffs play so far. They have been really, really strong. First series was mostly individual play with the likes of Kiaya just running over Nanoware, and today I think it's all about early game skirmishes, coordinating the engages, and they've just been 2 steps ahead of Vikings.
Yeah, they have. Look, as much as we will doom and gloom, as you said, this is not just Vikings throwing. This is GAM being excellent, being in the right place at the right time, and executing these skirmishes super well. And that's something GAM has always been incredible at. Levi, we're picking up this dragon as well on your screen. So strong at the moment, particularly Kiaya on the cannon, 3-0, showing Nanoway how it's done, as he is just obliterating this Jax.
Yeah, he's obliterating every single matchup he plays against Nanoware, and I think this is definitely one of the big issues, and maybe one of the targets on Vikings when they go into Worlds. The top lane doesn't look very promising. That was an interesting interaction, nicely done, using the Herald to escape. I don't think you have to go this far, Ari. You can get out of there.
Turn.
Just having a little bit of fun, I guess.
I love the new Rift Herald. It's so much one of the best changes they've ever made.
It is a great change. And Nanoware
Nanoware trying to jump away, but there's a Vi ult, there's a cannon ult. You're not getting away from that.
I think they even needed the cannon ult, to be honest.
No, I think it was BM.
He went down very quickly. Yeah, this top lane does look like a little bit of an issue, but we have to also say, against anyone else, against anyone not named Kiaya, literally the best top laner in VCS history, 6-time champion, he could be 7-time champion in just a few minutes. He has actually looked decent. Like, he played well against Hasmid in their series earlier. He played a very good series yesterday as well, so maybe it's just the Kiaya thing, maybe it's also just GAM targeting Nanoware over and over again. We've seen it in this game now, and the game before, where they just invest more resources into their top lane than the enemy team, and most of the time gank the enemy top laner more often than maybe he's used to. But this is definitely something other teams can look at, and also something that Hanke, SOFM, and everyone in Vikings have to look at to improve for Worlds, because it's too much of a vulnerability right now.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to take the opportunity with Kiaya popping off for what could be the last time as part of VCS English to tell the Kiaya story. Because as we've said, this is a guy we've watched for so long. His story is so inspiring as well. This is a guy that grew up like pretty poor in Vietnam and just never really went to school. He was illiterate even as like a mid-teens, later teenager. As Cardi has been caught out, will just be going down. So I'm going to continue. He couldn't read, partially because I think he struggled with dyslexia, but also just a bit of a lack of education. Easy Love does manage to get out. He ended up going into these PC cafes and basically saying like, hey, if I sweep the floors, can I have a couple hours on the computer? And the owner was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And he'd sit down to play League. Kiaya picking up another kill as they tell a story about him. He'd sit down and play League. Someone else would have to type in his username and password because he couldn't. And now he's here as the best top laner his region has ever produced, going back to World as possibly a 7-time champion.
Yeah, it's
Talk about
utterly
overcoming
ridiculous.
adversity.
Now this game has really devolved into just like a triumph march for the side of GAM. They're just winning everything.
Kiaya pulls the trigger.
There
They
he
pick
is.
up even more.
Even more kills for him. I think he's 7-0 right now, or maybe 6-0 in this game. So it's the best time to talk about him. He can also just play every style. Like there doesn't seem to be really maybe tanks. If you're really critical on world level, he's maybe not the greatest tank player. Oh, he's 7-0, but he can play every carry. He just picked up top lane 80 carries in the first series and just completely destroyed Nanoware on Smolder. He probably had, I don't know, 30 games all in his life on Smolder. It's ridiculous.
That said, about his tanks, yes, not really the strongest in his wheelhouse. Nanoway just desperately trying to get something back. Will get traded out. GAM gets Baron over the wall. They go back in and take out Shogun. This is destruction. But yeah, I just want to point out, it was a Kiaya, Ornn, Alt, and W that knocked Top out of Worlds. If he doesn't kill that minion wave in that game, the Nexus dies.
True. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows he has been my favorite player in the VCS for ages. I wrote articles about him, about his incredible contribution, and obviously over the last few years, people internationally have gotten to know him as well, because he's always there. Everyone knows Levi back from 2017, but honestly, it's Levi and Kiaya, Kiaya and Levi, the top lane jungle duo that is synonymous with VCS success. For a long time, Carty was with them there in the mid lane, but it's really through 2019 till 2024. It's always Kiaya, Levi, and they won so many titles. It's really ridiculous to look at. Maybe the best duo of players. I can't think of many who have achieved greater things in their own region. So these two just continue to dominate. And just look at this game. 7-0-4 for Kiaya, 50 CS ahead. And then his junglers 3-0-7, completely dominating the map, finding so many picks, finding great smites as well. He's rather old now for VCS standards. VCS is always one of the youngest leagues all across the globe, and he's still the best jungler here. He's still the captain of his team. He has still been able to craft new teams and just put rookies in the situation where Elio is going to win yet another title, where Emo is going to win yet another title, and Easy Love there in the bot lane, always stable, but he looks up to his jungler. It's Levi and Kiaya's league we're casting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's their world. We just live in it. And I think something that's so interesting about the dichotomy of this duo, as they will try and make a play onto Emo, but it's an Ari, he's out of there, is that Kiaya has basically been the best top laner in the VCS since Zeros left. There was some competition with Zeros, but once he was gone, he has consistently been the best top laner in the VCS. Levi? That's not really true. Ego came into the league, and there was a period of time where we were saying, maybe Levi's not the best jungler in the VCS. He is, in terms of his entire career, no doubt. But on the day, was he the best jungler? Maybe not. But there's such resilience in Levi to be like, man, I'm like pretty far into my career. I've got a lot of silverware in my trophy closet. I could just retire and be like, yeah, whatever, I'm still going to be the GOAT. But he just doesn't. He keeps coming back, and look at him. He's 3-0-7 in another final, Yulway.
Yeah, it's really so impressive to see. He's also kind of overcome his own struggles in the jungle position. He used to kind of shy away from some champions. We talked about his reluctance to pick up Lilia last game, and he used to just play AP junglers all the time farm, and now he's amazing on this Vi as well, just finding engage after engage. One last chance maybe for Vikings, but look at the goal difference. It's just too much. They just can't deal the damage. Shogun not strong enough, Carty not strong enough, but they might be able to find a kill here.
Yeah, they're desperately trying. It's a good reposition with that ult from Shogun. Kiaya only able to find one with the slicing maelstrom. Shogun is desperate, but Garma just too far ahead. Your way. They are just beating them to death with their bank accounts. That is 4 Vikings cleaned off the map. It is GAM walking down the mid lane, and they know how they want the VCS to end.
They do have the Nexus in their side. I'm not sure. Do they have the time? Shogun back in 20 seconds. Nana is back in 6. I don't think it's time for this game, for this
No.
VCS split to finish yet.
Not quite.
But it's only a matter of time now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is all over but the crying. They will manage to hold for now, and miracles can still happen your way. We could still have, as GAM pushes down mid, a 25-minute pause. For a blast from the past. Oh my word. It is.
Sivana's on the wrong team for that one.
It's true. It is true. It's a real shame. Vikings just, in the end, not able to stand up to this onslaught from GAM. But we've been talking about GAM so much. But we need to talk about Vikings as well. They will be at Worlds. This match, while desperately important as it is, this capstone to the VCS, is not deciding Worlds placement. Shogun will be at Worlds. Carti, and I really want to talk about Carti. He has always been the bridesmaid. Ever since he left GAM, he's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. And when he's previously gone to the international events, he was a bit embarrassing at times. But I think this split, he has stepped up your way.
Oh yeah, for sure. He's really embraced this AD carry mid lane style like no other mid laner in this region. Some of the other mid laners still kind of they will play the AD carries, but they don't really want to. You can definitely see it. Every opportunity they get, they go back to their classic mages. Carti, not so much. He was never really into mages. Think back to the times where he just played set mid lane, went down 100 CS, and the 100 CS extra went to Levi, and he carried from the AP jungle position. As Guri, unfortunately, runs into his own jungle, which is not his jungle anymore. Another kill over to Easylove. So Carti, if the meta stays anything like it is right now, I think he's more than comfortable. We know World sometimes comes with big changes, so let's hope that Carti can find the confidence and the level of mechanics to have a little bit of a better showing than the last time we went international, as GAM is now getting their Baron again at 28 minutes. Maybe one more kill. Yeah, Shogun is here. It's a big shutdown for Jax, but they're still very far away from actually doing anything in this game.
It's true, but still, you have to respect them. They're not going quietly into that sweet night. They will not be letting this final game be just remembered as where they rolled over and died. They will fight against the dying of the light. And Vikings are in a position. Miracles can happen your way.
Yeah, it's only 4 players for GAM alive, so now or never. You're 5v4 on the map. You have to strike now. You have to strike against this
Guri
soul as
over
well.
the wall! It is actually secured regardless. Easylove gets it. They do fight back with a kill. Levi, he's got a huge shield. He will clean the fight up, and Vikings, they're doing all right. They pick up 2 kills in the fight your way. It's for an Infernal Soul, but at least they get something.
They did get something. They did get some gold back. Unfortunately, the soul is still there, but the enemy team was dealing insane damage anyway, so maybe it's not even that big of a difference. You kind of have to just pick off 1 or 2 members. But Carti is now level 16. Okay, maybe not the biggest spike for the likes of Smolder compared to the Corki, but still a huge dragon. He's scaling up. He's probably at 300 stacks right now, so he's getting stronger and stronger. Shogun on 3 items, so at least the carries are getting there. The support stuff is lacking behind quite badly. They're more than 10k gold down compared to GAM, and add onto that the effective stats from the Infernal Soul and 3 Infernal Drakes, but still, if GAM chooses to fight a member down, that's 10k gold right there.
But now with an Infernal Soul, the damage is even more. This burst coming from Kiaya, from that Slicing Maelstrom, from the Assault and Battery from Vi. It's hard. It's
Not
hard.
Assault and Battery anymore.
Okay, fair enough. It's cease and desist now. I knew I was wrong, but I didn't remember what the new one was.
Guri, if he gets to level 16, maybe he can do something there. Unfortunately, the not full AP Shyvana doesn't actually want to use her ultimate to deal damage. Back in the day, back in 2019, when Levi played AP Shyvana essentially every game, late game ultimate Shyvana actually dealt like 1,000 damage. So probably not what Guri wants to do here, as Levi is looking for something.
Yeah, they're looking for something while Shogun had to run back to base. He was chunked out. So far, the minion wave's not perfect. Well, actually, they are perfectly synced. They're just not crashing while Shogun was poked. Very good, actually, here from GAM. Forcing a bit of a split in Vikings, which they absolutely cannot afford. They have to fight in number advantages. They can't take even fights. Nunaway chunks down to about a third of his
Poke
health.
setting up there.
Bro, that was an auto attack.
Nana was really the poke is adding up, but Easy Love is quite low now as well. Unfortunately, Mom against Braum. We actually saw that yesterday, and it doesn't really go.
Oh,
Smolder's
there's
way.
the turnaround. I think we have a third caster on us. Kiaya diving in. They do manage to get the damage onto Guru Shogun, desperately fighting, kiting it back. But it'd be 4 cleaned up already. Nunaway desperate. Needs to go absolutely huge. He will get one, but it's only onto the support. And Yulway, that is an ace. Vikings have been wiped off the map. And GAM push forward onto the Nexus, secure the 3-0, secure the win, secure the split, and secure their legacy in this, the final game of VCS to ever be played.
A performance today. It's the mythical beast that showed up again. It was not the GAM. It was not the GAM of the regular split. It was not the GAM of the early rounds of playoffs where they struggle with 45-minute games against Vikings. This is Finals GAM, and Finals GAM is something no one has been able to overcome for a very, very long time. The last time they were beaten in a final was Mickey Mouse Split 2021. Since then, it's utter domination 3 years in a row. GAM, they crown themselves again. It's Levi's 8th title. That is utterly ridiculous. And 3-0 today, Vikings stood no chance whatsoever, no game even close to 40 minutes today. This team is just the best.
And they will be the final names on the VCS trophy, etched into history. You see the players walking arm in arms. They know how much this means. They know how much it means to the fans, both Vietnamese and around the world. And before I embarrass myself on broadcast, I think we will throw it back to our analyst desk.
It has been an absolutely fantastic best of 3. Yes, it was a 3-0, but it was absolutely dominant, which, let's be honest, Rebel Marby is the way that GAM should round out the split. It's the way that they should round out the VCS because, well, they have been the dominant team for so long.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's the only other team in League of Legends that comes close to the dominance GAM has is the Flash Wolves. Like when your way of saying I cannot think of another duo, the only one that comes to mind is Mabel and Sword Art. Seriously, it's so this team is just so dominant, and ever since Levi's return to the VCS, he's been in every finals. He's been the top jungler almost the whole time. It's just, yeah, this team is so dominant. Vietnam is never gonna shake the one team region while these two stay together. I was really hoping for more, but it's GAM, baby. It's always GAM.
I mean, if you even go into like the realm of regular, well, like what would be considered traditional sports, I don't know that you can find teams and players that are quite as dominant as this. I mean, they have how many back-to-back championships? Yes, they lost one Mickey Mouse championship. That's a season that nobody even remembers except for us because we covered it directly. But like nobody even barely knew that existed. They were incredible no matter who was on the team, no matter who was off the team, no matter who they were playing against. It felt like they were always in some capacity favored. And yes, they had challengers come and go, but again, the longevity of GAM and Levi and Kiaya and the legacy they're leaving is incredible. I think also, looking at the steps going forward, APAC's going to be a much more tough region. You have PCS and you have some of these other regions from Southeast Asia that are going to be like kind of coming in to compete. And so I'm excited to see what GAM gets to do when they take their next steps, which is being one of the premier teams in that league and being able to show off and maybe compete at an even higher level to take it to the next level and represent VCS on an even more powerful level than what they have before.
And just to feed off what you said, it's not just the fact that, GAM have won for so many splits. They've done it with different rosters. They've done it with different players. They've had different challenges, and every now and then we think, oh, are GAM going to get toppled? But every time they pull through, and I will always remember in cast, we just come out and we say it's the GAM plot armor, right? GAM plot armor, somehow GAM find a way, no matter how far behind they are, no matter how much the odds seem stacked against them, they have that. And you can call it plot armor, but what it is a winner's mentality, right? No matter what gets thrown at them, they have that champion's mindset, that champion's ability to pull through.
I want to try to quantify something you tried to say. You called them like a child that you want to see tripped and fall. What it really is GAM was so good for so long that they transcended being a hero and they turned into a villain. We wanted them to lose because they were just so damn good for so long. We villainized players like Levi and Kiaya because they were just that impossible to beat so often. And I think looking back now, and especially sitting at the end of VCS, they were never really the villains. They were always the heroes. We just villainized them because we wanted somebody to challenge. We wanted to see what was going to come next. Oh my goodness, look how emotional Levi is right now. That's a gorgeous scene.
Yeah, he is. I'm going to assume that's his mom.
I
there with
assume
him, but
I don't think it's his kids.
I was like, is that the interview? Is it just, I don't know. But yeah, no, he's yeah, I think this final season, the last season of VCS as a tier 1 league is gonna be very important to him. I don't know if Levi's gonna continue into APAC. There have been rumors circulating for a few years in a row now that he's thinking of retiring, but it's just it had to be GAM in the end, didn't it?
Yeah. And I think for all of us as well, it's kind of sinking in that this is, the last VCS English broadcast. And it is sad, isn't it, Rebel?
I mean, it's impossible not to be sad. I've been around for 4 years. You've been around for a few years. Mobby was there nearly the beginning. I mean, we've seen Yolway and Carrick's take over. We watched Clockwork literally go from somebody who I thought was one of the most ridiculous human beings ever to having a PhD. I mean, Crincy's become like a legitimate broadcaster for like LEC. I mean, we've grown up ourselves on this broadcast to an unreal level. And yet somehow GAM still is nothing changed in the VCS.
Boy, when this started.
GAM. I didn't want to say it, but I figured it would get mentioned at some point.
I'll say it. Okay.
That's
Oh dear. Just before we do some final kind of outro bits, I think it'd only be appropriate if you two just get a chance to say a kind of final outro piece. Rebel, we'll go to you first because Marby's been the longest serving member, so I think it's only just that she goes after you.
That's fair. Yeah, and the fact that I got brought in off the street like a stray cat, I think Clockwork said the same thing yesterday, but it's kind of true. I remember looking in, I watched VCS for 2 years or something, was looking to cover games. So I'm like, oh yeah, this is pretty cool. I think nobody's doing English. And then found the stream and I'm like, oh wow, this is something he's doing. And I just got picked up. Nobody knew who I was. Nobody knew my body of work. And from then I was just kind of around for the rest of existence. I had something to do while I was working on my master's. I had something to do over the last couple of years. It gave me a lot of purpose and a lot of benefit to my ability to cast, and I got to see some of the best games and so work with some of the best people in broadcasting I ever had a chance to. So VCS English was a home, and it's one of my favorite places I've ever been. It does suck that it's going away, but again, maybe there's some hope for something in the future where we get to do some APAC games or something. I don't foresee it, but it would be nice to reconvene every then and again to at least watch or cover games as a crew. But for me, especially for everybody that ever watched our stream, for anybody who found entertainment and got to get to know VCS teams the way that we did by our streams, I say thank you, and it's been an amazing process.
Yeah, I'll give this a little bit short to save Spoot's poor computer, but yeah, I started covering LMS, sort of doing write-ups on Reddit, just because I had I know, I was in a bad spot. I had nothing else to do. And then I got a message on Reddit saying, hey, do you want to come talk about LMS versus VCS for the 2019 Worlds? And then after that, I was going to sort of copy what this was for PCS, but PCS got its official English stream, so that went out the window. And I just tagged on, and this has been a big part of my life. It's kind of sad to close the chapter, but yeah, things got to move on, I suppose.
It's been a big part of all of our lives, and I will forever remember that rap battle that we did. I love that to bits. Wearing a hoodie back to front in Yulway's apartment for just some random skit. It's been incredible. But the only two people who should be ending off this stream are the two people who started this stream all of those years ago. The two people who did this final broadcast justice. Yulway, Carrix. First of all, thank you guys. And second of all, do us proud.
Thank you so much to all of you. I'm a real pussy when it comes to emotions. You can probably tell. It's having a bit of an impact on me. I've always been a bit of a coward, so I'm going to let Yulway talk. But yeah, this means a lot.
Yeah, well, it's hard to find words. It's been an incredible journey. I started this, as most of you know, just because, I mean, honestly, the start was just, I was looking at different minor regions and always thought from the years before, obviously from 2017 as well, that the VCS was really interesting and had a really cool style, and the players were very good, even though the macro back then was a little bit laughable, 1.5 kills per minute in every single game. But yeah, I was looking around and no one was doing any English coverage for this one, and also there was no Twitch official coverage, which actually was one of the deciding factors as well, because I was a little bit apprehensive about that. So I just started putting out some really not great casts in spring of 2019, just doing my first ever step into this kind of work, just because out of passion. And then, as Carrix pointed out earlier, he just joined me for summer, and I believe we did every single game of summer, which was already insane because it was best of 3 double round robin, so it was like it was probably like 20 hours every week, and slowly but surely people appreciated it. I mean, don't look at clips from back then, because the mic quality. Oh my God. Word!
That's horrible.
don't ever go back and look at those.
Go back. I still remember us being so scared when there was a tech pause. We were so scared to do anything. What do we do? We don't have a pause screen. We don't have any graphics. We would just cast through a 3-hour pause.
Yeah, we did some quizzes and stuff.
We did quizzes and stuff.
For 2 hours instead of just ending the stream. Just insanity. Well, it was so much fun. Over the years, like, people started, we got more and more people on the team, and it was so much fun to cast with everyone, to mix up the casting team. I want to shout out everyone who was on today and on over the years. Of course, Clockwork couldn't make it today, but he was here yesterday. He had his few words. It was amazing working with him. It's just so many memes, so many the dances, all the stuff he brought to the broadcast. And Marby, of course, joining us, as she said, just in 2020, I believe. So we already had a little bit of a bigger
2019.
team. 2019. You even joined in 2019. Okay.
The first podcast was 2019, but
okay. Yeah, I mean
full time 2020.
Yeah, the casting was mostly 2020, and then our team grew. Of course, Milky joined, and Milky. I even met Milky here. And we went to LEC together. Working with Rebel was always amazing. I just can't believe he woke up at 3 a.m. over and over again. To be on broadcast. I could do it, I could never do that, but just the dedication and all the work we put into this, and I hope everyone had a good time watching us, enjoying the league together, with all the ups and downs in the VCS as well, all the pauses, all the ridiculous network issues back in 2020, 2021, all the the recent things we don't really want to talk about that put a little bit of a shadow over the VCS, but in the end, what matters is the fun that everyone had watching this league, and I hope the players had. So yeah, it was an amazing time. But I want to thank one person especially, because yeah, you saw him earlier today in the broadcast. Spoots, I just still can't believe that. Yeah, I had. Come on, Spoots, come on. I honestly, I can't believe what you did for us. It's so, like, looking at the graphics, looking at all the different packages you made, looking at the absolutely amazing just broadcast backgrounds, but then also transitions and graphics for stats and everything. It's just, every time I look at the VODs, I just can't believe that this actually happened on this stream that I founded in 2019, because it's just, the level is insane. So the biggest shout out of all to you, Spoots, because you have been so amazing over all these years, and also leading the effort this time around to bring us all back together, putting so much work into this. So the biggest heartfelt yeah, thank you to you, Spoots.
Yeah, and just to sort of wrap it up, we could talk for hours about all of this, but we have to cut ourselves off. I like to think we made an impact. You know, you had other like fan casts pop up in our wake. Some of those casters have, you know, really gone on to bigger and better things. Even casters that have been on here before. You know, I'm so happy that, yeah, we had a positive impact, and hopefully this is not the last of us, but our future is very, very uncertain with the APAC coming out. And yeah, I want to echo what you always said. Spood's the absolute MVP, putting in hundreds and hundreds of hours to bring, honestly, just a major region level broadcast in terms of everything except the people on the broadcast. It was major region level, no question, and it's just incredible. But yeah, thank you to everyone that's watched us for 5 years. Thank you to everyone that's run the Discord, run the Twitter, just been around this amazing community that's just persisted for so long and done so much. I guess, yeah, and
see
with
you
that,
soon. Hopefully,
see
somewhere.
you soon, hopefully, or maybe we don't, but we love you anyway. Good night. That will probably be doing a podcast, all that good stuff. For sure. Heaps of content will be coming out in the lead up to the end of the VCS in a Game 5. Flash and Gum, it always delivers. It's been back and forth and back and forth.
We've now arrived, ladies and gentlemen, 86 days into the split. We have gotten to our grand finals of the VCS.
Welcome back. We are going the distance today. It has happened, the most hype way to close out the split.
Our split started on the 11th of February, and now over 2 months later, and on LAN for the first time this year, GAM and Cycle. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you happen to be watching from, and welcome to the VCS Grand Final cycle.
Welcome to the final day of VCS Spring Split 2023. It all comes down to this. In a few hours, welcome everybody! It's finals night. It is the last night of VCS for 2023.
But with that, we will be saying goodnight. VCS English has returned, and we will be bringing you the rest.
Fear not this night, you will not go astray. Though shadows fall, still the stars find their way. Awaken from a quiet sleep, hear the whispering of the wind. Awaken as the silence grows in a solitude of the night.
and just Carrick's rewarding himself for all the work he did in this laning phase. I mean, his kiting was so insane, he almost moved between auto attacking.
GAM have beaten Saigon Buffalo 11 times. The only time they lost to Saigon Buffalo was in regular season of this split, of summer.
My Chipotle orders, when I have to put a name on it, is usually BJ because it shares the majority of the letters in my actual name, Bean. So don't take this lightly when I say, BJ, get your shit together, because that game is
not only they plan their early game to aggress, but also in defensive situations we have seen.
Being at their base with a fast enough recall to sort of answer the push, but no, they go for the dragon. They knew that Team Middles was there. They say, we will take this fight. They got down so much, they followed up so well, they got down so much damage with their goals, and it's going to be GAM taking the two, a very hard fought, coming through a dominating second game, and now a third game to finish up the series.
Enough to be able to look right down and give the space to go still wait a minute and say it is quiet maybe more than quietly from the corner.
Streaming into the base though, so it's really. Oh no! Look at the teleport!
Oh no! He's teleporting!
Wait, what is happening? Oh, today's series is just